Yo, 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 yo. Good morning, man. Welcome in. Today is January the 16th. We have not a bunch, it's like 5, 6 games on the board. It's actually a really good slate. All right, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me calm down for a second. It's a lot that I think can be found on the board for today. I have not completely done all my homework as far as player props. Size and totals feel difficult though, if I'm being honest with you guys. So we're gonna jump into it, get through a couple of the comments, and then after we do a quick recap and get into the games that we got on the board for today. So should have been a 3-0 night. It was a 3-0 night. Technically, it was a 3-0 night. I had the Rockets last night. Even though Jokic got ruled out, I really loved that bet. Even with him being in, they won the game, covered the spread pretty easily in Denver last night. And then I also had the Memphis Grizzlies minus the 2.5, and they came through too, like I thought they would in San Antonio. Then I gave you guys those two plays on the show yesterday, and then I added a money line parlay that did cash. I sent it out incorrectly though, and I really apologize. I don't do that frequently. I wanted nothing to do with the Orlando Magic yesterday. I kind of made that clear on the show yesterday. I put it in the Discord as well. Just reading quotes about Giannis and Dame talking about consistently bringing that competitive spirit. So they won the game and covered the spread pretty easily yesterday. However, I parlayed them with Charlotte on the money line and sent it out to the members as Orlando plus Charlotte on the money line. So the bet cashed. Hopefully people didn't take Orlando, because if you looked at the odds, you would have saw that they didn't kind of correlate equally. I thought the Bucks were going to win the game. I didn't know that they were going to blow out the Orlando Magic in that form, but thought Orlando was a little shorthanded. So yeah, it was a 3-0 night, but we'll grade it as a 2-1 night. Either way, we made a couple dollars yesterday if you tailed all the plays. Let's go through a couple comments very, very quickly and jump into the slate for today. Jacob in here with us. What up, Jacob? Jose says Minnesota Golden State Warriors just owns them. Yeah, 3 in a row now. 3 in a row. It's crazy because no Draymond last night either. Faded the Celtics yesterday. So freaking happy, Snowman says. Yeah, Celtics. I saw it last night. Tatum said, man, we're going through some He said, we're going through some right now, man. And they absolutely are. You go into Toronto and lose outright, that's a bad loss, especially after you just beat them by 54 points. And I think it was like less than 2 weeks ago. What up, Brian? Appreciate you for tapping in. Lakers did get the job done last night. I stayed up and watched. Did not have a bet on it. Tasha says she thinks the Wizards are going to cover today. We'll get into the games. We'll get into the games in a second. What up, 1780 Guap? GLB Bets, what's going on, bro? Good morning to you. What up, PZ? Top of the morning. Good morning, Andrew. Says, again, love Josh Hart. Yeah, we talked about Josh Hart yesterday on the show. Didn't know Cat wasn't going to play. He came through. Good morning, Nayeli. Oh, people said they can't hear me. Is my audio off? Tasha said she can't hear me. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me. Let me go through real quick. I know we had some audio issues yesterday. My mic says that I'm good. Speaker. Yeah, I should be good. Let me know if y'all can hear me in the chat. Audio is good, GLB Best says. Okay, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on for you specifically, Tasha. But yeah, I made sure the audio is going to be good today. Good morning, Nayeli. She says, I took the Cali team. Something told me they were going to come through. They absolutely did. Absolutely did last night. Cass Fitting to Eat, Mario says, let's jump into it for today, man. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. Let's jump into it. First, we will start, as we always do, with jaXon. jaXon is your AI sports betting buddy, companion, AI partner, whatever you want to call jaXon. jaXon takes a lot of the research out of it for you. It makes it a lot easier for you to be able to kind of go through the bets a little bit quicker. You can handicap player prop size totals, whatever it is that you're looking at. I'm interested in a lot of things today, but I haven't placed the bet yet. First thing I wanted to look at though was the total. Last night we were talking about this in the Discord, and I really wanted to get there with Phoenix and Washington under. The total was 234. I think it dropped to 233. Now it's all the way down to 231.5. There are some 232s out there. So I asked jaXon this morning over or under in the Phoenix Suns and the Washington Wizards game, and jaXon tells me that it makes me a chart as it always does. It has average points per game for both teams, points allowed for both teams, combined average total, and the percentage of the games that have gone over the current total. So it says the combined average total for both teams is about 229.6 points per game, slightly below the set line of 232. The Suns have gone over in 50% of their games. The Wizards have gone over in 52.6% of their games. Then you got some recent trends. The Suns coming off the 122 to 117 loss to the Atlanta Hawks, where they allowed 20 offensive rebounds, a key factor in their defeat. The Phoenix Suns, we said that yesterday too. The Phoenix Suns struggled defensively, ranking 24th in defensive efficiency, and has allowed opponents to score heavily in recent games. Five of the Suns' last 6 games have gone under this total points line. The Wizards are on a 7-game losing streak and ranked last in the NBA in defensive efficiency. They allowed an alarming 122.6 points per game. Washington plays at the 4th fastest pace in the league, which often leads to higher scoring games. 5 of the 6 matchups between the Suns and Wizards at Capital One Arena have gone under this total. So you got some key matchups. The Wizards' fast-paced tempo could push the total higher, but the Suns' moderate pace may balance it out. Defensive struggles. Both teams have had defensive issues, with the Wizards ranking last in defensive efficiency and the Suns struggling on the glass and in transition. Then you got injuries. Suns will be without Nurkic, which could impact their interior defending. Head-to-head trends. The Suns have won the last 2 matchups against the Wizards, including the 140 to 112 victory, at Capital One Arena last season. So then you got a recommendation. While both teams have had defensive struggles, the Suns' recent road games and head-to-head trends suggest a lower scoring game. Additionally, the Wizards' offensive inconsistency and the Suns' ability to control pace could keep the total under. So jaXon likes under in this game, and I kind of do too. I didn't bet it, but I kind of do too. I kind of wanted to get there with the under. Check jaXon out if you guys are interested. There's a discount, a referral code in the description of the video. You can see it on the screen as well. ChrisBeCappinn, 2 P's, 2 N's. It'll get you 50% off. You can handicap player prop sides, totals, NBA, NFL, college basketball, you name it. MLB's coming up. You can do a lot with jaXon, man. So just check it out if you guys are interested. We'll get into that Wizards game in a second, but first game up, we got the Pacers and the Detroit Pistons. And we talked about this one a little bit in the Discord last night as well. Very, very difficult game to kind of handicap right off the top, in my opinion. So let's jump into it. Injury report first and foremost. Pacers and Pistons. So we got Tyrese Halliburton listed as game time decision. Of course, he didn't play against Detroit in their last game. Against the Cleveland Cavaliers in their last game. And then you got Andrew Nembhard, who has been, Aaron Nesmith, who's been upgraded to questionable. He has not played a game. It's probably been about 20, 25 games since he's actually played. It's been a while. He hasn't played since November the 1st against the Pelicans, is what I'm seeing. And then you got Ben Mathurin, who's already been ruled out. He suspended for 1 game for pushing that lady referee the other game. Last game, he got really, really upset. Kind of like, he didn't push her. He just kind of like put his shoulder into her, and they suspended him for a game, which he very, very much deserves. He was like putting his hand in her face and stuff, like very, very immature behavior from Benedict Mathurin in that last game, when it was clearly a foul in that point. But neither here nor there. Detroit is going to be healthy outside of course, Jaden Ivey. So I'm looking at the teams. They have split so far this season. I think the Pacers went into Detroit and beat them the first game of the season. They won the first matchup. They did cover as a 5.5-point favorite, but Detroit kept that game close the whole time. Detroit got their revenge. They actually got it in Indiana. They beat this Pacers team 130 to 106 as a 5-point dog back on November the 29th. That's when the Pacers were kind of going through it. They had a bunch of injuries, bunch of inconsistencies, weren't really playing a lot of defense. And both of these teams come in red hot. The Pacers have won 7 of their last 10 games. They've covered 7 of their last 10 spreads. They had won 7 games in a row too until Monday, when they gave up 150 points against the Cleveland Cavaliers and just really didn't play any defense without, just really, really fast pace and no defense without Tyrese Halliburton out there. That was the first time they had actually given up 120 points or more since they lost to the Bucks on New Year's Eve, and they play Philly on Saturday. On the Detroit side of things, they're coming off 2 days rest, so they do have the rest advantage here. They've won 8 of their last 10 games, have the Detroit Pistons, and really could have been 9 or 10 if they, weren't in that super bad spot. They had that 5th game in 7 nights against the Golden State Warriors. They do host Phoenix on Saturday, so for what it's worth. So first thing I wanted to look at was the impact of Bennedict Mathurin. He is he has a very, very big toll in my opinion. The numbers say the same thing. Offensive and defensive numbers go up and down with him on and off the floor. Offensively, they score about 6 more points per 100 possessions with him on the floor. Defensively, they give up 6 fewer points when he's on the floor. So Bennedict Mathurin makes a big, big impact based on just the numbers. If Jarace Walker plays, it starts for him. He's a negative defender and a negative offensive player for the Pacers so far this season. And it's not anything against Jarace Walker. I think he's a really good player, plays hard, but the numbers are the numbers, and he does not fill that role for Bennedict Mathurin in the way that, it's not like as simple as a plug and play, in my opinion here. So I think that's going to hurt the Pacers. No play on this game in general, just kind of giving you guys my thought process. I really wanted to get there with Pacers, and that's the way that I would look in this game still. I think Detroit's been hot, but I don't like their strength of schedule. So real quick, and then I'll go through the comments. One of the reasons why, so you got Halliburton listed as questionable. You got Ben Mathurin out. There's a lot of moving pieces. In my opinion, it's too difficult to kind of weigh this game. But the spread did open at 2.5. I think it got bought down to 2. Then they got pushed back up to 3. And now I see it's coming back down to 2. I'm only looking towards the Pacers, but I want Hallie in. Now we'll see if he plays. One of the reasons why I like the Pacers initially was because of their strength of schedule. They've played the 7th strongest strength of schedule over the last 5 games, and they have the 4th best defense against the 7th strongest strength of schedule. 4th best defense. And they're also getting better offensively as they've gotten a lot healthier over the last few games as well. They have a lot of advantages when you look at how the team has been playing. Detroit has lived in the mid-range last 5 games. They're third in frequency, third in frequency and accuracy, and the Pacers have been decent defending the mid-range. They're about middle of the pack. Detroit's also shooting lights out from 3 recently. They're third in accuracy in last 5 games. The Pacers are the 2nd best 3-point defense over the last 5 games. Detroit also plays fast. They're 4th in pace over the last 5 games, so they've been getting out, pushing in transition. 6th in points via the transition. And Indy is number 1 last 5 games in transition opportunities, and for their opponents in 3rd in opponent points scored via the transition bucket. So on the opposite side, when I look at the Pacers, they're number 1 in mid-range frequency. We know that they're not a team that shoot a bunch of threes, but they're number 1 in mid-range frequency. They live in the mid-range. They're 4th in accuracy, so those shots have been falling. In last 5 games, that's kind of been the Achilles heel of the Detroit Pistons. They're actually bottom 5 in opponent frequency and accuracy from the mid-range shot. So only looking towards the Pacers. I looked at Detroit's strength of schedule. It was like 27th over the last 5 games. They've been beating up on some cupcakes, in my opinion. So I don't want Detroit in this spot. I know that they're at home. I know that they're 8-2 straight up in their last 10 games, but I don't like their strength of schedule being so, they've been kind of beating up on the lesser things. And the Pacers, probably going to be fired up after losing to, I think that they're going to be fired up anyway. One thing I want to do is kind of go back and read the, what was said after the game. So didn't play the game, but leaned towards the Pacers. Didn't really look at player props in this one. Let's see what you guys are thinking. What up, AC? Appreciate you for tapping in. Hot TV Grits. Same, my brother. Good morning, Hyman. Just top of the morning. Let's see what you guys are thinking. What up, Tariq? Says, try to jump on here when I can to show some support. Work is hectic. NBA injury report policies need to change, and that is a fact. Appreciate you, Tariq. That's an absolute fact, man. Let's see. Brian says he likes Detroit minus the 2.5. Merrill says he's gonna keep riding with Cade over his 34.5 points and assists. Could not talk you off. We cashed Cade points the other day. I will be writing down Cade to see what his matchup looks like. I think we played him at 24.5. I do expect that number to be bumped up a little bit. GLB Best says I want to take the over, but definitely gonna hold off a bit. And I'm right there with you. I wrote that over in my notes last night as well. Total hasn't really moved though. It's actually come down a little bit. So we'll see how that goes. Justin says I wanted Pacers till the Discord said Mathurin was suspended. Yeah, it's tough. It's difficult to take the Pacers, man, without Mathurin. I will say this: the Pistons are 2-6. Yeah, 2-6 when they're laying points at the crib so far this season. Pistons do not cover as a favorite. Now, granted, if you take the Pacers, you need them to win the game outright, but Pistons don't cover as a favorite. Just 2-6 against the spread as a home favorite this season. Looking at the let's see, at the Pacers, they are 9-6 against the number as a road dog this season. As a favorite overall, Detroit's just 5-8, and at the crib, they're only 8-10 against the spread. So, just some other things to kind of take into consideration. Malik Beasley for 1780 guap. He says, and Tobias Harris over their threes, looking for Detroit to push the pace, especially at the crib. I can see that. Merrill says Pistons ranked 21st in guarding the power forward position. Siakam over his 20.5 points. Okay. So looking at some Siakam props, I will write Siakam name down. It seems like a prop day for me, honestly. Like I don't like a lot of size and totals. Yesterday I had 2 plays, even with the crazy injury report in the NBA before this. I even started the show. Today I'm not liking a lot, man. What up, Brim? He says first half under my lean here. Well, Parlay Bag says first half under my lean here. Nayeli says I'm waiting on to see who actually plays before placing any money. Slight lean on the Pistons. What up, Will? Says what up though, Chris? Detroit basketball. He likes Siakam over his first quarter points at 4.5 here. Sean says Pacers have been really good to me, so I'm gonna back him here. Okay. Yeah, this is kind of what I'm expecting. Good morning, Drop It Down. Appreciate you for tapping in as always, bro. Same for my guy Christian as well. Blazers, I hate to say for the Celtics. Yeah, they're going through it right now, man. Celtics are better than what they currently are. I'm not good at it. Not sure how good they actually are, though. Derek White is shooting terrible from the three-point line. They literally can't make shots right now. All right, let's get over to the next game. We talked about this one a little bit already. We got the Phoenix Suns and the Washington Wizards in DC. Couple story like headlines you could potentially talk about here. You got KD, who is from PG County, back in DC. You got Bradley Beal returning for the team that he once played for a very, very long time. I want to say Bradley Beal was drafted by the Wizards. Yeah, I think he was. So you got those type things going on. Take with that information, do what you want. This line did open at 11.5. It came down to 10. Now I'm seeing it going back to 11. Couple of things on the injury report here, and you got the trade stuff, which kind of makes this one difficult. So on the Phoenix side, Bradley Beal is listed as doubtful with an ankle injury. That to me automatically I think the total is going to go down. Nurkic is out with an illness, and then of course they just traded for Nick Richards about maybe less than 15 hours ago. So Nick Richards probably got on a flight immediately, is what I'm thinking. They were in Utah last night, so he's flying all the way back cross country to come to DC. And I'm not sure if he's going to be there. I mean, he absolutely could be there, but I'm not sure if he's going to be there for shoot around or if he's going to play with the team or not today. We'll see how that works. But I think that does impact the game a lot. Nick Richards is going to be really, really good for this team. And now you can, trade Nurkic, probably even cut Nurkic because they don't really need Nurkic no more. Also, in my opinion, is going to be the guy that comes off the bench to kind of give this Phoenix Suns team some size. I like that trade a lot. Nick Richards to Phoenix is going to be really good for them because now you got you got Plumlee, 2 guys that play really hard, that can rebound the basketball, can defend. KD can go back into his natural position of playing the 3, which is, him playing the 4 just wasn't working out for Phoenix. They've always been a undersized team, and I'm still expecting Matt Ishbia to continue to make more moves before the deadline. But neither here nor there. When we talk about the game, Phoenix is coming off a very, very bad loss. They got smoked to Atlanta. Atlanta was shorthanded, didn't have Jalen Johnson. They were laying 2.5 in that spot. That was the 7th game in 11 nights, though. And I talked about, that not being a good spot for Phoenix. You just didn't have it from an energy perspective. I talked about it. They were out rebounded by 20 in general. And this is the second of a nice little road trip. They actually play in Detroit on Saturday. On the Wizards side of things, 7 straight losses for them. They've lost 9 of their last 10 games. They did get a backdoor cover. If you took the late line against the Timberwolves the other day, they were getting 14.5 at the end of the night. But before, that line opened up at 12, 13. So just depending on where you were there. This is the last game of a 3-game homestand for them. They go out west and play against Golden State on Saturday. I don't want anything to do with the Wizards right now. I know that this is a big line for the Phoenix Suns. I'm not looking towards Phoenix either. Let me just make that clear. This is a very, very difficult game. I'm just sharing information. I thought under was the right play based on Washington's just really poor offense. They're the worst offense in the NBA. I do think Phoenix can dictate pace, but then when I started looking at numbers, it kind of kept me off. I can't play the Suns because they actually cashed less than 40% against the spread on the road this season. As a favorite, they're just 7-11 straight up as well. So I want nothing to do with the Suns laying this big of a number. They've actually lost 5 of their last 6 games on the road overall. So I don't want that. I do think that they come out with a lot more energy and effort. This is not the Atlanta Hawks. where you're gonna get dominated on the glass. At least in my opinion, you're not gonna get dominated on the glass by the Washington Wizards. So they should have significant advantage there. They should come out, play with a lot more energy and effort on the offensive end. Maybe a look towards them early, but I can't put my money on the Suns right now. Not laying this big of a number. The book's not gonna give you a discount. What held me up though, from the under, like I was talking about, is that the Suns are 6-2 to the over as road favorites this season. This is where their defense has struggled at the most. In fact, 7 of their 8 opponents have actually gone up and over their team total on the road. They're giving up about 116.5 points per game in this spot. So even though I'm thinking Phoenix should be able to come in here, play a little defense, I can't put my money on it. The Wizards, not the type of team I want to bet on, though, especially without Brogdon, and he is listed as out. So no plays on this game for me. I wanted to get there with Bill points, but I don't think he's going to play, in my opinion. We'll see. Like I said, he's listed as doubtful with an ankle injury. I'm not messing with this one, though, man. I guess I still kind of lean towards the under, but no play for me. Let's see. Andrew says, finally, the Pistons are good again. I like the Pistons, man. I really like Kate a lot. I like what JB Bickerstaff is doing over there. Merrill says he'll take KD over his 32.5 points and assists. Brem says play of the day, KD points over, or Bill back in DC points over. I could see that. I don't like playing on KD though. KD is not the guy I want to play points wise because he does too much distributing for me to like his points. He continues to go under in his points as well. Yeah, no, that's a fact. What was I just reading? GLB Best talking about Derek White and Josh Hart. They both were in really good spots last night. Really good spots. Merrill says take the team total over for Phoenix. Blunt says let's go. Chris 2-0 day. Grizz minus 2.5. Rockets plus 1.5 after Cal show. You felt good about it. Let's have another day. Yeah. I felt good about it the night before because I had already placed those bets, but glad we got some cash yesterday, Blunt, for sure. Nayeli says Wizards team total under with a Suns money line. Put them together. Chasing the bag says not touching this game, player props only, and I'm right there with you chasing the bag. This is not a game where I feel comfortable laying or taking the points here. LJ says Durant's from DC, right? Enough said, points over. So I got to look into the game log. I feel like KD don't always go crazy, man. Like that's just my thought process. KD don't go crazy when he come back to the crib, though. But yeah, he is from PG County. He is from PG County, right outside of DC. Did Bradley Beal put up 50 last year on the Wizards? Maybe. I didn't even look into that, Brian. But like I said, he is listed as questionable. One of the reasons I like the under. Let's get over to the next one. We got the Cavs and the Thunder. Game will be played in OKC today. And this was a very, very intriguing matchup between these two teams. I immediately wanted to take the Cavs and the Thunder in the quick revenge spot, thinking that they would come home and get right. Trying to find my notes on it, but I did not. So this line is all the way down to 2.5. Yesterday, this popped open at 4. I thought some 4.5s out there as well. There is still 1-4 right now, couple 4s right now, but 3.5 looks to be consensus. Hold on, no, I'm tripping. 2. This is down to 2 down to 1.5 now. So money is coming in on the Cleveland Cavaliers to come into OKC and get a win, man. Knock the OKC Thunder off twice. And a lot of that money is coming in because of the injury report. So Isaiah Hartenstein, for people who don't know, has been ruled out in this game. Of course, they will still doubt Chet Holmgren. They have no AJ Mitchell. So they're probably starting, both Jalen Williams. You got big Jalen Williams and J-Dub, probably both going to start in this game. That's a significant impact, in my opinion. So what you guys can see on the bottom of the screen here, if you're watching on like a TV or something, you can zoom in and look at it, but you don't have to. I'm going to talk about it anyway. But I just wanted to put that on the screen. Sometimes I think it's helpful to share because I'm giving you guys the sauce, but it's always helpful when you can see the sauce as well. So I put the graphic at the bottom, the picture at the bottom here, what I was looking at. This is PvP stats. This is where I look at my on-off court numbers. So the first thing you can see in this top row is what happens when Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren are both off the floor. You look at that defensive rating, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sixth column over. The defensive rating with both of those guys on the floor, with both of those guys off the floor, is a 107.2. Now we know, that's still great. Like that's like top 5 defensively. But with one of those guys on the floor, between Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren, their defensive rating gets so much better. So you can see the second column, the second row is Isaiah Hartenstein on the floor with Chet Holmgren off the floor. They're outscoring their opponents by about 13.5 points per game with a defensive rating of 102. So they're giving up a lot fewer points. With Chet Holmgren on the floor, so follow me. I'm in the third row now. Chet Holmgren on the floor and Isaiah Hartenstein off the floor. They are, you can see Chet Holmgren, the defense even better with Chet Holmgren on the floor. They're giving up 99 points per 100 possessions. Just crazy stuff, man. The reason why I put this on the screen is because the defense is the worst without both of those guys on the floor. You can see that there's only been about 893 minutes so far this season. There's still a plus 10, but the Cavaliers team is a tad bit different, man. On the opposite side, we do got Ty Jerome listed as questionable. He did not play in that second game against the Indiana Pacers the other day. We know Cleveland just beat the OKC Thunder 129-122 as a 3-point home favorite. OKC had actually won three games in a row before that in the head-to-head matchup. That game finished with 251 points, and the total was set at 231.5. I immediately wanted to take over as soon as Isaiah Hartenstein got ruled out. Kind of feel indifferent about it. I do think that this game is going to be high scoring. I don't think that the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to be able to win this game with their defense. I think the Cavs are one of the teams that match up really, really well with them. Even though I wanted them in a revenge spot, I don't want them without Isaiah Hartenstein. It's really just that simple. I don't think that J-Dub is as good of a defender as Isaiah Hartenstein. I think the offensive continuity is not going to be as good. Isaiah Hartenstein's out there diamond, making plays for others. So I don't like that at all. But typically, one of the things I looked at last night, and it doesn't matter now, but you typically want to bet on these teams that just lost, these really good teams that just lost against non-conference opponents that's playing against that same conference opponent. And now they're the favorite. It's a very, very strong trend. It's cashing about 65%. So that kept me off of taking Cleveland in this spot. I do think that this is a tad bit different spot, but I think I don't want to bet against OKC. I really, really don't, man. I think that I don't want to bet against Cleveland either. And initially, like I said, with Isaiah Hartenstein being in, I was going to take OKC. I was just waiting to see what the line was going to do, and I was going to jump on OKC to get the quick revenge. I think that they were the right side, man. Cleveland is just a different monster, man. I watched them smoke the Pacers the other day. Just get whatever it is that they want. I think that the best play actually is over. I think Cleveland's defense is not that great. I watched the Pacers score a bunch of points. The Oklahoma City Thunder, I think, should be able to score the basketball as well. They're probably going to play faster without Isaiah Hartenstein. I wouldn't be looking towards under, even though I know, it's probably a lot of strong trends towards the under in this spot. I think the over is the best spot on the board. Over 232, in my opinion. Without Isaiah Hartenstein, Cleveland should be able to score more. OKC is going to have to keep up. Both teams playing pretty fast pace as well. So over would be my recommendation in this game based on what we know about it right now. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. Brem says he leans the book open over his points. If Bradley Beal doesn't play, definitely a Booker spot in my opinion. Also, like whoever the center is, I'm not sure if it's going to be Nick Richards or Oso or Plumlee, but the Wizards, they give it up points in the paint to the big men and rebound. So just something to think about. Craig says no Hartenstein, but I still trust Shea. Maybe just take Shea up and over his points. Couldn't talk you off of that, Craig. He had a really good game in Cleveland the other day. Blunt says, I want to take the Thunder, but their bigs are so banged up. They are, man. Like, J-Dub is a tad bit different, in my opinion. Let me see what their offensive rating looks like with Jalen Williams on and off the floor. Big Jalen Williams. So with him on the floor, their defensive rating is still pretty good. They're a plus 11 with him on the floor. Defensive rating of 103. Defensive rating with him off the floor is a 104. So that says that they can still play a little bit of defense here. We'll see. Merrill says Jared Allen up and over his points and assists makes a ton of sense here. I mean, who's going to match up with him? DJ says Chris for president. I don't want that responsibility. Absolutely not. LJ says Cleveland first quarter. They lost the first quarter at home last matchup. Cavs start off fast. And that's a fact. That is a fact. That is an absolute fact. Cleveland first quarter makes a ton of sense to me. I want to read about this game, though. This is a game where I got to go through the beat writer list. I want to see what the players are saying on both sides. I know Cleveland want their lick back, though. That's one thing I know for sure. Merrill says Darius Garland under his points and assists. OKC number one in defending point guards. That makes a ton of sense. I agree with that. Craig says, I like the athleticism of OKC role players on the perimeter. If the bigs can hold it down a little bit, shake and take them home. Bookie says, Thunder on the money line. What up, C-Ray? Says taking the Cavs points and money line. They look like a better team. First game, not enough size. I expected this to be conflictual in the chat. And I'm not going to talk you guys off whatever side it is that you like in this one, honestly. What up, Jason? Says, I'll just take the Cavs without Hardenstein defense and assists. I can't see OKC winning this one. It's hard for me to see OKC not winning in general. But Isaiah Hardenstein is a big piece, so I couldn't talk you off. I think I'm going to stay on the sideline this one. I'll do a little bit more digging. That first quarter, like LJ said, for the Cavs makes a lot of sense here. Makes a lot of sense, especially with the Thunder having to, get adjusted a little bit to playing, without Isaiah Hardenstein. And it's the first game back home for them after, I think, a 5-game road trip. They've been beating up on some cupcakes too. So they beat up on the good teams. They smoked the Knicks, of course, but then they beat up on the Wizards. They beat up on the Sixers. So, yeah, strength of schedule has been a little bit crazy for them. Nayeli says, fact check, last year when the Suns came to DC, February 4th, 2024, Bill, 43 points, KD 18 is what Nayeli says. Okay. Julio likes the Thunder. Never underestimate the Hardenstein impact. I'm right there with you, Mario. I agree with that, man. One of the reasons why I'm sitting tight on this one. Nayeli is on the Thunder. 1780 Guap says Cavs on the money. Bounce back spot for the Cavs backcourt. Shea dropping 40, Parlay says. Could not talk you off some Shea Gilgeous-Alexander props. I think Shea's in a really good spot to go stupid, dummy, crazy, like my guy Jay Briggs says. Mobley over his 18.5 points. Lil Williams can't guard him. Merrill says that makes a ton of sense. Makes a ton of sense. All right, let's jump over to the next one. This is the game of the day, of course, though. We got the Clippers and the Blazers. Just real quick on this one. Not a lot to like or love in this spot. It's the second to last game on the board. Hold on. Did I make graphics for the last game? I feel like I didn't. Oh, no, I did. Okay. All right. So Clippers and Blazers. Very, very interesting. Very, very easy cap for me here. So we'll go injury report first. We got a couple guys out for Portland. Klingon is out. Jeremy Grant is out. Denny Avdia is listed as game time decision. I think he's more doubtful, though. Yeah, he is listed as doubtful with an ankle injury that he sustained in that last game when they were playing against who did they play against? They played against the Brooklyn Nets the other day. And then Robert Williams is out already. The Clippers do have on the second leg of a back-to-back with travel, of course. They were up. I don't know how much they ended up winning by. I turned the game off when I saw them go up by 50 last night against the Brooklyn Nets when the Brooklyn Nets won the second leg of a back-to-back. Now you got the Clippers on the second leg of a back-to-back. Kawhi has already been ruled out. Clippers are 9-1 straight up against Portland in the last 10 games. However, this season, they've already lost to this team. They lost 106-105 as an 8-point home favorite. They got their lick back, beat them 127-105 as an 8.5-point home favorite. Now they go to Portland. Clippers haven't been good on the road, man. This is one of those night and day type teams. You take them at home, you fade them on the road. I know that what they did last night looks super impressive. I know Portland's coming off a few really bad losses as well. I see this spread moving from 6.5 to now 7. If I wanted to play the Clippers, I think I'd play a 1-10 win margin. I don't think it's going to be a double-digit win for them. A couple things I looked at. One-off road game for the Clippers. They got a game back at the crib on Sunday against the Lakers. They beat Miami by 11, laying at 8.5 points. But again, that game was on the road. When I look at the Clippers, and then Portland, 1 day's rest, third straight home game for them, 3 straight losses. When I look at the Clippers, they're getting outscored by about 5 points per 100 possessions on the road in general. They got an 8-11 record on the road. So the Clippers don't do well laying a bunch of points on the road. They're actually just +8 as a road favorite this season. So they're not winning by margin. Also just 3-4 straight up and 2-5 against the spread, playing on no days rest, including 3 straight losses. This feels like I know Portland got a bunch of guys on the injury report. You definitely need Denny Avdia in my opinion. But the Clippers, I see them turn it on, turn it off a lot, man. So 1-10 win margin for the Clippers is the way that I would probably play this game. I don't think it's going to be a double-digit win. I think looking at the Portland Trailblazers, they can come out, fight hard, keep this game close. They still got some scores, and I think it's just more of a letdown spot here for the Clippers because that's what they do on the road. They just let down. So Clippers 1-10 win margin is what I had in my notes for this game. No, I ran one of these the other day. Suggested another one. They didn't come through, but that's the way I think that the bigger the line gets, the more I think the Clippers are going to win by by less, in my opinion. I know that the light years better than the Portland Trail Blazers, but those are my quick thoughts on this one. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. The bookie says Portland plus 6.5. You can get plus 7. Just went to 7 on DraftKings, the bookie, and you might get a better number, honestly, with the Portland Trail Blazers because the line's moving against them. What up, G421? Says didn't catch the live yesterday, but hit Golden State money line. Steph catching this over 25.5 points with that clutch 3. Yeah, Steph went crazy last night. He went crazy. He looked like old Steph, man. I like to see that. Jose says Portland team total under. I could see it. So the Clippers, when I was looking into this, just real quick to put some numbers to that. Clippers on no days rest. They're 5-2 to the under. They're only giving up. Well, they only averaging 99 points. So their defense plays a lot better in this spot. And on the road, the Clippers are under team, especially without Kawhi. They're 12-6-1 to the under on the road. They're giving up 111 points. So you don't really like to see that, but they have been under in general. So I could see an under for the full game in this one, Jose. Me says they won by 59. That's insane. I didn't even stay up to see what the end result was going to be. Manny says this is a spot where Zubac can eat. I would probably look at Norman Powell. I think when I look at the Portland Trail Blazers defensively, they really struggle. In my opinion, the Blazers struggle. They struggle getting back in transition. That was one of the reasons Brooklyn had so much success against them. And they're a very inefficient offensive team as well. Like they can absolutely get things going with Shaedon Sharpe and what's his name? What's the second year player name? I can't think of his name. Scoot Henderson had a career high 39 points, I think, in the last game. You still got guys out there like Anthony Simons, but the Clippers perimeter defense, if they come locked in, I mean, they could absolutely lock this team up if they wanted to. I don't think the Clippers have been playing too fast lately. Let's just look at some numbers real quick and we'll get to the next game. So Portland last 5 games, they are 16th in offensive rating, 28th in defensive rating. They've been giving up the points left and right. Minus 5.6 in efficiency differential, which is 25th in the NBA. They are playing at the 20th fastest pace, so bottom 10 in pace. Clippers playing a lot faster. They're 4th in pace over the last 5 games. Number 1 in defensive rating over the last 5 games on the opponent points scored at about 100 per game. First in defensive efficiency. And they played the 14th strongest schedule. But like I said, I mean, I do think that they win. I'm just not sure if the Clippers cover, man. They don't get the job done too frequently on the road, in my opinion. So I'm not leaning points with them here, especially coming off a big win. Could be a bit of a flat spot. We see it all the times. Team look like, something that you expect them to be, and then they get smoked in the next game or barely win the next game. So, yeah, like I said, as a road favorite, Clippers have been a road favorite twice this season. I mean, 4 times. They're 2-2 against the spread in those games. So, yeah, just some things to kind of put to that. Norman Powell for me, Brim says, and that's the way I would look as well. User says, yeah, facts. I like Storm and Norman too. Yeah, Norman Powell's good, man. Kamara could end up guarding Norman Powell in the spot, though. He absolutely could. Merrill says he likes Harden over his 2.5 threes. Portland 27th guarding point guards from the 3-point line. That's a fact, my opinion, not yours. He says Powell is a corn respecter. He goes crazy. I love Norman Powell. He should be in running for 6th man of the year, even though he's been starting a lot more. Last game on the board, man. Game I got to look a little deeper into, if I'm being honest. I didn't spend too much time on this game, primarily because I kind of wanted to see if the Rockets were going to rule anybody out. Udoka typically doesn't do so, but let's jump into it. So we have no idea who's going, who could be added to the injury report, something to take into consideration. Like I said, I kind of wanted to take my time with this card today. So Rockets are, this line did open at 3. It's being pushed to 4 now. See some 3.5s out there as well. Total open. I wrote 227.5 in my notes, so it's come down. Looks like it's coming down even more. I see 224 on the card right now as well. And you look at the injury report for what we do know already for the Sacramento Kings. They will could potentially get Monk back. He's listed as probable, so maybe he probably plays. And then Devin Carter is also listed as questionable in this game due to a shoulder injury that he sustained recently. Tari Eason did not play yesterday. Of course, no Jabari Smith Jr. and Jock Landale is also out as well. So potentially could get Tari Eason back. We'll see how that goes. And then, like I said, Houston can add people to the injury report. Sacramento did beat this Houston Rockets team already. They beat them 120-111. I remember being on the wrong side. I was on Houston in that spot, and they got smoked. If people remember that game earlier this season, that was the only matchup that they played. Houston was getting a point and a half, and that was the game that Dylan Brooks did something to De'Aaron Fox, and De'Aaron Fox absolutely turned up on him in the second quarter. The game was pretty much over after that. This is the second leg of a back-to-back for the Houston Rockets, of course, and Sacramento, first game for them coming back home after, a nice little road trip, which is typically a phase spot. Sacramento, of course, got smoked by the Bucks the other day. Before that, they beat the Bulls on Sunday, and then they beat Boston as well. So first game back home after a little 3-game road trip. They've been doing a lot of traveling. And they got the Wizards coming up on Saturday, so they do get a little bit of a break here after this game. When I match these two teams up on the floor real quick, let's just do that. Let's look at Sacramento, and then let's look at the Houston Rockets. The Rockets have been balling. It doesn't feel like I really want to fade them for real. So the bigger the line gets, the more I kind of want to look towards them. Last 5 games, the Rockets are the number 1 team in offensive efficiency. One of the reasons why I liked them yesterday against Denver, because Denver's defense is kind of cupcake-ish to me, in my opinion. So number 1 in offensive efficiency, number 21 in defensive efficiency, which makes sense because as your offense gets better, typically your defense takes a toll. Third in efficiency overall. So this is the third best efficiency differential team in the NBA over the last handful of games. They are playing at the 19th fastest pace, so about middle of the pack there. Slow, I guess a little bit slower than middle of the pack. And strength of schedule is 13th. You look at the Sacramento Kings, they have the rest advantage here, even though it's not a great spot coming back home from the East Coast, in my opinion. They are 7th in offensive efficiency, 6th in defensive efficiency, 6th in efficiency differential, 13th in pace, and they played the 5th strongest schedule over the last 5 games. They had a couple really difficult games against the Bucks and against the Boston Celtics in their last handful of games. So, real quick, let's just go through. Let's look a little bit deeper real quick. And like I said, this was a game I didn't dive too deep into, but I'll do it now. So Sacramento, last 5 games, they are living in the mid-range, number 1 in mid-range frequency, 16th in accuracy. Houston's been really good there, 10th in opponent mid-range frequency, and 4th in opponent mid-range accuracy. That could hurt a little bit if you like Sacramento in this spot. I'm looking at Sacramento. They've been shooting a 3-point shot a lot better, 8th in frequency, 10th in accuracy. On the full season, we know that they're one of the worst 3-point shooting teams. And that could hurt Houston. Houston's 3-point defense has not been great recently. They're actually the 7th worst 3-point defense. Sacramento is not pushing pace as much. I feel like they were, but now I'm looking at numbers said that they actually aren't. 18th in frequency last 5, and they scoring the 3rd fewest points in transition. In general, last 5 games. Houston's defense is really, really good in transition. Another reason why I liked them last night against Denver, because they do get back. When I look at the Houston side of things, offensively versus Sacramento defense, it looks like Warriors still trying to make some trades. It looks like looks good, man. One key advantage here, I guess, for Sacramento is that Houston is the number 1 rebounding team. I talked about this last night as well. Number 1 offensive rebounding team. Sacramento has been doing a really good job of limiting teams. Actually giving up the 2nd fewest offensive rebounds over the last 5 games are the Sacramento Kings. So that's something Houston shouldn't be able to do is get a bunch of putback opportunities. Right now they are last 5 games, they're actually number 1 in putback opportunities and number 6th in points scored off putback points in their last 5 games. So that should limit Houston from being able to score the basketball as efficiently. And it's really going to come down to Sacramento being able to guard the 3-point line. Houston is hot right now. Jalen Green, jaXon Tate, like they're just scoring the basketball at will. They're the number 1 3-point shooting team. The Houston Rockets are. Crazy to think. I remember the Rockets missing 500 3-pointers in a row against the Oklahoma City Thunder in the Cup semifinals. But they're the number one 3-point shooting team. It just shows you the variance in the NBA, how things go up and down. They're shooting 44% from the 3-point line over the last 5 games. So if they're making those shots, which Sacramento's 3-point defense has been better recently, they're making those shots, it could be a difficult game for Houston. A difficult game for Sacramento. Houston does like to push pace. They're second in frequency last 5 games. They're second in frequency and point score in transition. And defensively, Sacramento's good. They're 7th in frequency, in opponent transition frequency, and 7th in points allowed. So they're pretty good defense. That to me says that this game goes under. I told you guys I'm not playing totals for at least another week. Every time I see and I match these 2 teams up, it goes the opposite way. So I'm not playing a total, but it does say under. I think is the greatest spot on the board in this game. The total has come down about 1.5 points, but I'm not playing it. I'll add it to the short list, but I'm not playing any totals. Not any totals for myself for the next week. They just don't go right for whatever reason. Under 225.5. Got a little bit more work to do before I get there with a side. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. Kind of live cap this one too. Just didn't give you guys a bunch of trends on the game, but kind of broke it down from my handicapping process. Merrill says Sabonis triple-double over his 23.5 points and assists. The bookie says Kings -4 if Monk is back. If not, Kings money line. Manny says I'm a Kings fan, but why are the Kings favorite? They've been hooping. I think they've been hooping, man. I do think. All right, so now this makes me want to go look at the trends. Let's look at the Rockets as a road dog so far this season. And I know Sacramento hasn't been covered as a home favorite. I already know. Sacramento actually the worst team in the NBA against the spread as at home in general. They're 15, 22, and 3. So they're only cashing about 40% of tickets when you play on them against the spread in general. At home, 7 and 13, 35% are the Sacramento Kings. The Houston Rockets, 23 and 16 against the spread. That's 59%. On the road, they're 12 and 6, 66%. You definitely want to back the Rockets on the road. As a road dog, they're 4 and 2, 66% as well. With less rest, they're 7 and 4 against the spread, 64%. Against the conference, they're 15 and 11, 57%. So you definitely want to, you want to back the Rockets, but it's the second leg of a back-to-back. And Sacramento does have a little bit of rest here. Well, not a lot of rest, but they got the 1 day's rest. So coming off a win, Houston is 15 and 11, just extremely consistent team with Udoka out there. Sacramento, the trend's not going to favor Sacramento because they just started playing a lot better. But yeah, it could be a nice little bounce back spot for them. We'll see. As a home favorite, they're just 7 and 10. At home in general, I said it's only 7 and 13. Against the conference, only 10 and 16. Coming off a loss, only 7 and 11. But like I said, more recent numbers favor Sacramento here. But those are some trends. This Manny got me talking about it. 1780 Guap says Kings -4 and over 226. Nayeli says the Kings are overvalued in this spot, so I'm rocking out with that money line and the over. DeRozan under for Merrill and Amin Thompson effect. I can see that. As long as he can stay out of foul trouble, Merrill. Long as he can stay out of foul trouble. How long is the flight from Denver to Sacramento? It's probably a pretty short flight, even though they probably got there super late. Vaughn says Sabonis for 13 boards, Fox for 20 points, parlayed together is a -110. Love that tonight. He likes Amin Thompson on the boards as well. Haven't been back to Amin Thompson. Kings a pretty good rebounding team. We'll see. I'll add that. I'll add Amin Thompson to my short list as well. His boards to the short list in this one. Thompson double for LJ. 1 rebound short last night. Amin Thompson points, rebounds, and assists. A lot of people liking Amin. It's not difficult to like him though. He's a dog. He plays hard. You love to see that. What's up, Money Man? Fernando says he's rocking with the Rockets team total over. He likes them to get 112 today. C-Ray says, give me the Houston in the points. What Sacramento team shows up today? I don't know. Houston +4 for me, though. Mark says, first quarter, first half makes a lot of sense, Mark. I'll write this down as well. Houston, if they run out of gas, it will probably be late in this game. It probably will be late in this game. I can see this, Mark. Love talking the games out with you guys, man. Houston with no rest this season, 3 and 4 straight up, 4 and 3 against the spread, 5 and 2 to the under. They are outscoring their opponents on the second leg of a back-to-back. They are outscoring their opponents by an average of about 3 points in the first quarter. They're losing the second quarter by about 2, winning the third quarter by about 4, and then losing the second quarter by 2. So yeah, Houston first quarter could make some sense in this game, in my opinion. If they're a dog and they're unrested, 0-1, they lost to the Bucks in this spot, but they did outscore the Bucks in the first quarter as well. They were getting points. They beat the Bucks 28-27 in the first quarter, unrested as a dog, and they were on the road in this spot. So I could see that. I could definitely see that, Mark. Houston first quarter. PG says under on Sabonis assists. Andrew says the Sacramento spot. I kind of thought so too, Andrew, except I don't like that his first game back home, flying back home from Milwaukee. You also don't get they used yesterday to travel. You don't get a practice day in there at all. Markel, what's up, bro? He says he's on Fred VanVleet over his points, rebounds, and assists. Sengun got ejected last game. They played. He did get ejected. I remember Udoka picking up a tech. I think Dylan Brooks picked up a tech. That makes sense. Makes sense. Jason says Fox and Green over 25 and over 25 plus 300. Okay. If you like that, I hope you cash it, my brother. Let's get into. I left a lot of graphics up here from yesterday. so take those off. This is a short list for myself here. Not gonna add the player props, but haven't played a bet today. Indy plus 3.5. If we get Holly in, that number is coming down to 3 now. I did see a 3.5 pop up earlier this morning. And in Phoenix and Washington, I'm probably not going to play it, but under is the look in this game. I also think this last game we just talked out also is a under spot, but more so than an under. I think Houston first quarter could be the look, especially with the revenge. You can get Houston first quarter probably plus what? Probably a point and a half maybe. Let's see what the first quarter spread is real quick for Houston. Yeah, you can get plus 1.5 on FanDuel at minus 115. So plus 1.5. Houston. I could see them sticking around early in this game. The Cleveland and OKC game, like I said, I just think that if OKC is going to be competitive, especially with them missing Isaiah Hartenstein, it's over for me, man. I'm not a big over guy, especially in revenge spots, especially with OKC being such a great defensive team. But I think I'm not really trusting Cleveland defensively right now. I watched them give up a ton of points to the Pacers. OKC's offense is kind of clicking right now. So it's over for me between OKC and Cleveland. If I had to play the game, did not play it though. I'll do a little bit of more work on it. No official plays for me today after having 2 yesterday. And sometimes it's like that, We'll see how the injury report goes. We know that it's spooky hours in the NBA if you're trying to place bets early. But yeah, this is what I'm kind of feeling right now. And then I talked about that Clippers win margin 1-10 as well if I wanted to play that game. So I hope the show was helpful for you guys as always, man. I do really appreciate everybody for joining in and, handicapping the games with me, shouting out different looks and leans and just making my brain kind of work and, getting my brain spinning to help me kind of process my thoughts and look into different angles. I hope you guys have a great day. Check the resources out if anybody's interested in using the tools that I use to handicap the games. Use those promo codes in the description of the video to save yourself some coin and make yourself a more profitable sports bettor for sure. Best of luck, man. I hope you guys enjoy your Thursday. We'll be back tomorrow to look at the Friday card, man. Hope you guys get some cash today. I'm out.